Come on, guys. You are not happy well. Such a it's not sounding like quality. Are you sure I'm in this for science? So I'm not sure. The answer is what it took our mastermind to bring me. Or rather, it's me that knows what it took me to get here. Coming to the stage of the Star Nation, it's like you're in most Pilates and you are caught the experience. You don't understand. My flight was delayed like 3 times yesterday. I said, every liar.
It's a bastard.
Somebody every liar. I'm grateful to the mastermind of this house. Thank you so much. Thank you for this privilege. Please, I will sit down. Please, let's sit down. Thank you so much for this privilege. Yeah. I will not take it for granted. Coming into this hall, I see a lot of people who have come to attend an event, but they have not taken any position yet. Money does not change people's life. What changed people's life is an encounter with light. Somebody can give you a lot of money, and yet your life is not changing. That's why you are seeing people that want a lot of money, but they still end up broke. People have won lotteries in their lives, and they still end up broke. But the moment you encounter light, your life will never remain the same. So money does not change people's life. What changes people's life is what? An encounter with light. The reason why we have people that give people money and some people are begging for food is because they are living in darkness. They have not encountered light. The moment you encounter light, you will realize that you have been limiting yourself for the longest time. But before you can encounter light, you have to take a position. Can somebody take a position? The reason why every year this event happens, and a lot of people come to this event, some people will even leave here and quit the business. Some will go back and become the best version of themselves. All of us are in the same room, but what makes the difference is the position you are taking. The reason why most of the times you will go to a church gathering every Bible, and then somebody will come in contact with the pastor, just an handshake, and the guy has received the Holy Spirit. But there's a guy that's carrying his bag every single day. The man is even laying hands on him, but there's no Holy Spirit transferred to him. The difference is the position you have taken. Many of you have come here this year to take a position of taking pictures. That's the position you have taken so far. Some people are outside. They have come to take a position of they let me go apply. going to able to give that. I just find my platform. It's let's go again. Let's go and see what they are doing again. So after this one, I'm quitting. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 0. A lot of people like that. A lot of people, you know, I will be sharing my story with you, and I would like you to be that's not what you take a position. Not just a position, take a position of change. Listen, man. I want to celebrate our president. President of the state of Nigeria. Please, can we make some noise for our president? If not for that vision, we will not be here. And somebody like me will not have the opportunity to be in this room. God knows where I would have been today. I'm grateful to my mastermind leader, my chief leader, Ambassador Vincent Moto. Please, can we celebrate him for me? Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Temitope Awelewa. I'm from Ilawe, Ekiti. I have people from Ekiti State here. Oh! You're out. Yeah. Say what the box. I make it to one. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, I only say kilo now. I'm about this. Better. I delay you more. Was where I came from. I'm from a family of 7. My dad wanted me to become a medical doctor by all means. The reason why he wanted me to become a doctor was so that, you know, there was a time in this country, if you want a family to be out of poverty, there are some individuals you have to produce. Can we mention them? Doctor, engineer, lawyer. Thank you. Most of our lawyers now are real estate agents. Apologies to the lawyers here. But if you are a lawyer now and you are not dealing in real estate, you will be charged and paid. But there was a time like that, that if a family can just produce one lawyer, that family is out of poverty. My dad, that if I can just become a medical doctor, the family can be out of poverty. That was the first reason. The second reason was because my dad wanted to be called Baba Doctor. That was the second reason. But when processing admission at the University of Agriculture, unfortunately, I was not offered medicine. I was offered geology. Remember me? Yeah. I'm looking for it. I don't know. And I couldn't tell my dad because I was afraid. I knew that what he was going to tell me was that I should stay and I found Nigeria. Of your interest. If I didn't know that somebody else told him, and my dad told me, I said, I saw that I offered the geology. I said, yes. And he told me that geology is better than medicine. I didn't know that my dad has done research. And he saw that the school fee of the medical students is more than the school fee of the geologist. And then he told me, I'm telling you, a geologist is better than medicine. If you become a geologist, you are going to be in charge of the oil of this country. Oh my God. I opened my eyes to the potentials of being a geologist. The reason was because he knew that the school fee of the medical students was bigger than his wishes. That was how I accepted to study geology. And my first year school fee was supposed to be 51,750. My parents were looking for that money everywhere. We would not raise the money. If you know it is state account, you know that 99% of our parents, who are the teacher, civil servant, or you are a farmer. My dad is a farmer, and my mom a pest trader.
Why they look me?
Raising that money was very difficult. But one peculiarity of the parents is that no matter how difficult it is for the family, they want their children to do what? My parents made up their by all means will get you. They were trying to raise that money. And unfortunately, that was the same year we had a change in government in Ekiti State. And Governor Kayode became the governor of Ekiti State in his first regime. And he decided to collapse some institutions.
Yes. Call my name again. Yes. I'm here.
And my school fee was increased.
So
we're struggling to raise 51,700. My dad called me one day and said, this 51,700.
Oh.
It's like the government is asking me to donate my kidney. He said, well, don't worry, we'll raise it. But then the same school fee was suddenly increased to 101,000. And that was it. My dad called me again, don't forget. My dad wanted to produce what? Medical doctor. And then he changed that dream to become a geologist. But this time around, they called me and said, young man, a lot of people didn't go to school in Nigeria and they are making money. My dad started sharing ideas with me. His neighbors, brothers, sisters, son, and the things they are doing to make money for them. And say you can be one of them. That was at that point that I knew that there was a problem. But my mom insisted. Mom said, no, by all means, this boy was to school. My mom, on the other hand, does not have the money, but she had arguments. Reasons why I needed to be in school. She started telling it to my dad. It became a very big fight in our house. Every day they were arguing over my school. My mom thought if I can just argue for some time, maybe this man will find a way out. But it got to a point and she saw that this man is not going to release this money because he didn't have the money. So my mom decided to introduce a little bit of madness. And she called me one day and said, put it more water machine. I know what we do. I said, what do we do? And my mom said, if your father does not have peace of mind in this house, you go to school. If you are a man here and somebody is frustrating you, if the person is outside, it's still fine. But if your bite is the person that decides to take your peace, it will be like you are living in hellfire on earth. That was the experience of my dad. My dad got to that point of desperation. He just wanted to have peace. And he knew that for him to have peace in that house, this boy would secure his admission. And my dad decided to find a way out. The way out he found was to call an extended family meeting. My dad called everybody he could think of together in our house. You are in this business, they are telling you to write contacts. My dad made a contact list prepared for money. Everybody gathered in our house. They didn't know the reason for the meeting. Many of them wouldn't have honored the meeting. And that is the eldest person in the family. So while he was calling the meeting, he just wanted to honor the meeting. And you know when you want to start a meeting, you want to break the ice. My dad broke the ice and said, the meeting has admission. I was in that meeting. It was one of the most terrible experiences of my life. My dad said, everybody was so excited. It doesn't cost people anything to be excited for you. Don't beg them for money. A woman came to me and just hugged me. I said, wow, congratulations. God will provide money. That was very shocking. And my dad said, because of the money, that's the reason I called you. That was how they started the business. Because many of them started asking questions. When I paid my own child's school fee, did I call you? Somebody said, so are you saying that even if we try and support you for this year, by next year you will call us again? A woman said, this boy does not have to go to school. He can be a mechanic. He can be a furniture. Suggestions. That room of extended family members where people were deciding my future in my presence because of 100,000. The meeting lasted for over 3 hours. We're going back and forth. They'll scatter the meeting. When they get outside, they get themselves and come back together again. I was witnessing all of that. Before the meeting ended, my dad had already lost all the respect he had. Nobody was respecting him. If you will you respect him? After 3 hours, we couldn't raise 101,750. We were able to raise about 33,000 naira, both in cash and in promise. That will give you an idea of the kind of family I came from. I was able to secure that admission because the government gave us, people like me, opportunity to pay instrumentally. And I used 30,000 naira to secure my admission. They're not going you well. They were me. That you will go back and ask for house rent. I became a paper in school. I started painting rooms for new students, just so that I can buy handouts. My self-esteem was better. Anywhere my friends are talking, I'll bury my head. Because their experience was different from mine. One day, I was going out in a community called the World, and I saw a little boy that ran to me. I said, Mother, please give me 20 naira. I gave him 20 naira. And a part of me decided to ask him some questions. What do you want to do with this money? And the boy said he has not eaten since yesterday. So after giving him the money, I knew what it feels like for a child of his age not to have eaten since yesterday. Because I had things like that. So I wanted to go and vent my anger on his parents. I followed the boy home, and on getting to his house, I discovered that the little boy had lost his good parent. The father and mother were no more, and he was living with a grandmother that whatever the little boy met from the streets, so the grandmother ate it. Grandmother was grounded on a chair. So the little boy was the only source of income. Two things happened to me. First, I was extremely excited because I just discovered that my family was not the worst. And secondly, I was terribly sad seeing a little boy that was already feeding an adult without a job. And I asked the woman, if I'm bringing you food items more than the one this boy brings, can you release the boy to me? I want him to get back to school. And the woman looked at me and said, if you give me food now, you can take the boy. Poverty is a bastard. That's somebody know before. In everything you do in this life, make sure you are not poor. If you are in this room, You have listened to everything. And everything you're going to listen to in this room, and you still die poor. I'm not sure you can make heaven. When a man is poor, he will compromise his values. You cannot be poor and be very spiritual. I made a lot of promises to the woman. I said, don't worry, I'll take the boy, I'll get him back to school, I'll bring him food items. I didn't know I was just talking about motivation. It was when I go back to my hostel, I started speaking sense into my head. I said, young man, are you sure you're okay? Because even you, your family gathered to pay your own. What is the difference between me and the boy? But the experience of me and that boy did not leave my head. So I started finding a way out. And I thought of putting him on Facebook. I posted his picture on Facebook. And I told the story of how I met. And I said, I want this boy to get back to school. By the grace of God, some of my friends joined me, and I was able to get him back to school. That was the day I got the boy back to school. I paid his school fee, changed his school uniform, and I was so excited. It was like the most beautiful thing I did in my life. But when I was about leaving the school principal called me. I said, thank you so much for the fun that you have done. I said, God bless you. Started praying. And he said, but do you know what? In this school, we have many other children like this. That their cases are even worse, more than this one you brought. And he started showing me children that will never be in school on market day. Every market day, they have to be in the market. Every people to carry loads, carry bags before they can survive. When I saw that, I told myself, if Facebook has helped me to help this one, that means I can still use the platform. This was in my 200 level. And I launched a campaign called Let's Feed the Market Child. The idea of the campaign was to help children like this to get back to school by providing their basic needs. By the grace of God, I did that for my 200 level till I graduated in the university. I love what I was doing. I love the fact that because of me, I was reviving the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of these children. But one thing I did not like about this was the part where I needed to beg on Facebook. I knew that this is Nigeria. A lot of people that will never contribute to what you are doing are the ones that will conclude that this is how you are surviving yourself. So I knew that I was in need of help. I managed to finish my final exam. I've not gotten my certificate, but I started looking for a job. I was at that point in my life, I was looking for a income. And I think God answered my prayers and sent somebody my way. I was on Facebook, that same Facebook, and I had a chat with somebody that prospected me for this business. His name is Lily Orlando, and he said, hello, Peter, I've been following you for 4 years. And he said, I like what you do with street and market children. But now that you're a graduate, what do you want to do now? He said, I will get a job and all of that. And he started laughing at me. And he said, do you think if you get a job now, you can start paying children's school fees? And he said, we run on your life campaign. I said, explain to me. He said, no, you have to come to Abuja. I'd never been to Abuja in my life. That was the first time. I made a decision and I traveled to Abuja. I came to Abuja and I saw the project. When I saw the project, I didn't have money to get started. But I love the project. I love the project because of the people I met. People that showed me the business. Their life was looking like the kind of life I wanted. The first experience of network marketing I had, I didn't do it I was prospected for GLLA. I got to their meeting, and the guy that was sharing us the millions, I don't want to look like him. So I knew that this is not for me. I said, if this is what network marketing looks like, I will not do it. But then coming to Abuja and then seeing another version of network marketing, I made the decision to do it. So I went back to AJEWOLE. I promised them, I said I'll raise the money. I went back to AJEWOLE, and the only laptop I had to my name, I had the laptop and I took it to a market in AJEWOLE and I sold it. I sold the laptop and I sent the money back to Abuja. That night was the most stressful night of my life. You know why? I could not sleep. It was as if I sold my vengeance. Now, I have two problems. Number one, I sent the entire money I had to a total stranger I met in money. The second problem was after I sent all the money, I didn't have another money. It didn't come back to Abuja to confirm it the office is still open. So I had a lot of trauma in my head. And I said, young man, you have been scammed. But the only consolation I had was that I was added to a WhatsApp page and I have not been removed. So I was observing everybody on the WhatsApp. And then one of the closed down strategy that the person that prospected me used was that if you sign up now, whatever happens in Abuja, you're going to benefit in ability. And then I said, wow, so what is stopping me from signing up? Even if I don't understand the business. And then 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I didn't do anything. I was waiting. And then one day, they added somebody on the WhatsApp group. Because that time we had just one WhatsApp group. When somebody joined from anywhere, they would add the person. So you will know that one person has joined. They added somebody. And I went to send a message to my sponsor. And I said, plus, they just added somebody on the WhatsApp group. I not go to that thing that is sent to me. And there's no money there. I checked my BTC, it was 0007. I said, bros, I don't understand what is happening. He said, if another person joins, I will make money. And he said, at that point, he still hasn't told me the truth. He said, calm down. So I tried to understand. I said, maybe I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people that they are putting people under. One day, they added 3 persons. I opened my BTC and I saw 007. And I said, bro, what is happening? That time he added 1 person. Today, 3 persons. And nobody is under me. And that was the point he told me the truth. And he said, you have to work the business. And I made up my mind. I said, I will not do the business. I told myself, I didn't tell anything. But I made a decision. And the money I used for the business, I must get it back. So I sent a message to them. I said, what do I need to do to run this business? I'm ready. And he said, I have to do business much. Not anything, I'm ready. I didn't tell them that the reason was because I wanted my money back. And then we did our first launch in the United States. And guess what? About 5 of my friends signed up. Wow. Don't clap. Don't clap. Because after they recorded all these 5 of them, the money for my laptop was still not completed. So I knew that I needed to do another one. And guess what? They came all the way from Abuja to launch the business with you in AJEWOLE. The biggest part of the problem that I didn't know was that these people that came from Abuja would not stay with me. The moment they launched the business, we'll go back to Abuja. And after the event, They went back to Abuja. I started running research for this business, even when I have not experienced engagement. Wow. So for some of you that you are here, and you're supposed to start, or you are saying, I have not made money. I have not made money. I used to tell people, the biggest success story in our business that qualifies you to show another person this business is not until you buy the car. It's not until you build the house. The results that people want to see is first. They said when you connect one person, you make how much? Minimum 20,000. Did you connect one person? One. When you connected one person, they pay you the money. That's the second one. The third one is now that you have seen the money, and they said you will link your account. You now withdraw the money. If the money drops your account, that's success story. Even if it's not more than 50K, you already have a success story. When you are trying this business and you see someone that is saying, hey, I'm not making 1 million, people like that are not even useful in your business. Smart people that see the business, they know if 20 naira can drop into your account, that means if I do it, 20 million can drop. I started showing the business to people. And guess what? After the legs, I didn't have money to take it all. So I borrowed that laptop. So I will take that borrowed laptop, I will take it to people's houses, and I will start showing them the business. I don't have a hall, but we can turn your sitting room to the hall. I will show you. I started doing like that. I was showing them, and guess what? I was showing the business to people in a state at a time when the government would not pay salary for over 8 months. People were seeing my business. They loved it. But they couldn't sign up. And they thought, okay, maybe because they are saving salary, let me take it to the bank. I will write a letter to the banks, and I'll say, I have something to show you. Some of them granted my request. And they will ask me, come by 6:30 in the morning. I will go to the bank by 6:30 in the morning, and they will give me 15 minutes before they open up to customers. I started showing the business to them. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular hall was a hall that it was an entry. The person already closed the business. I said, you can come and be using this. There was no lights, there was no nothing. Imagine when you put your laptop in front of about 20 persons. I can show them the presentation on your laptop. Some of them cannot even see the screen. At the point I graduated to this, I got my TV and my generator. I always feed it every business meeting. Every time I'm going to the hall, I do my meetings on Sundays. I will take the gen to the hall first. I'll drop it, arrange the hall, and I'll take the bike back to my house. And then I will go and wear my clothes because I'm the one also to show them the videos. But this second, the bike man is taking me again. The bike man must not get close to the hall. He has to wait at the distance, you understand? Now, I'll be walking majestically and show them the millions. But the hardest part is when I'm done. When I'm done with the meeting, I will make sure I sit down for like 3 hours extra. So that there's nothing you should be doing outside. After I don't show you my business, 3 hours before I came outside. Okay, I'll be inside. And I will carry my gen on the bike again and take it back home. The reason is if I show you my business, you are taking my business. And the person that showed you the money 2 hours ago is the one you now saw on the bike struggling with generator. You will carry another bike and follow me and say, bros, that's what you're doing. That was me. I thought the business was not working because I didn't have an office. So I managed to get a place. I shared about 5,000 questionnaires and I got 7 sign-up. In case you are here I have said, I have done everything. Have you shared 5,000 questions?
Yeah, that's right.
At a point, I was tired. I thought maybe because I was working alone. I hired two ladies. And I said they should do it with me. I was raising money from another thing to pay their salary. And guess what? Every time they submit the questionnaire, we don't call questionnaires immediately. You have to give them 24 hours and 48 hours. By the time I start calling the questionnaires, you will discover that the numbers are not connecting, something, and then one day, the spirit says, when they come, don't allow them to go, start calling. And then they came back, and I told them we are calling now. And we started calling the questionnaire. 1 to 20, number was not going. And the only person that picked was a guy that did not understand my language, and I did not understand his own. And I said, so how did you administer questionnaire for this guy? And I found out that the moment they leave my side, they will go to a corner and fill the questionnaires for me. When God was going to answer my prayer, one of the persons that has attended my meetings long time ago just called me, maybe because he saw that I kept talking about the business. He called me and said, you say people have an office? I said, yes. And he said, okay, I'm coming to your office. I'm ready to get started. I was so excited. I went straight to the office and I sat down. And then when he came, he sat in front of me. I was pointing him at payment. I said, make your payment. And the guy was looking at my back. I'll tell you what he was looking at. I said, now let's get started. How many accounts are you doing? As I was telling him, the guy was staring at my back. The window blind you're looking at here was the banner we used for my lunch. I didn't have money for window blind, so I sliced the banner and I put it on my window. That thing was very beautiful to me. I didn't know that was bad until that prophet came. And then I was pointing him at payments, was looking at the banner. I didn't know that I was even struggling to read what was on the banner, but we sliced it. And he said, wait. He said, do you think this business works? I said, yes, business works. All the success stories you have seen, they are very real. There are people I know, people have connected. And he said, are you truly sure it works? Or that's what he told you to say. He said, because if the business is working, how come you cannot afford ordinary person? That point was the eye for me. And he looked at me in the eye and said, don't worry, I believe in you, but I will come back. And he left. When he left, every of my friends that were believing in my energy, they came to me and said, look at me. Said, we know you did not scam us, even though the people that came to know that you brought, they are equals. He said, but we know that you did not scam us. He said, but this one, you cannot do it again. And he left. Everybody abandoned the business. They said it cannot work. And at that point, I didn't have any motivation to keep going. Guess what? I quit. I didn't quit. I quit the business. I said, I'm not doing it again. I can't continue like this. Even me, I was tired. Maybe I would have still been spending motivation if I had other offices around me. I was the only one in our community. And I said, no, I can't continue. And I thought about it. I said, what they are doing here is leverage now. What if I come up with an idea that gives me leverage myself? And then a breakthrough idea. Okay. Someone said breakthrough idea. Because some of you are here. You have a breakthrough idea in your mind now, different from this business. If I can just do this thing aside, I'll be making so much money. I launched the fastest online restaurant in Agriculture. I call it just foodie. I was not going to be cooking food. We're going to be delivering food from every instance in Agriculture. I did my calculation. God knows I did my calculation. I knew that the business was going to work. If we deliver 300 foods every day, I will be fine. But guess what? I got a guy, and then the Okada riders, the staff. When we take one order like this and they leave the office, they would have done like 5 orders before they go. I'm not aware. And I'm the one servicing the bike and not paying their salary. And it looks like we're making money, something will happen to the bike. And then we put it as it's we did the right stage to launch. And one day, thief came to the shop. They thought we were cooking. Everything we had, they took it away. See, I believe that God needed that one to happen so that my head can be correct. When it happened, I went back home, and then because I was still on that WhatsApp group, and I was seeing success stories of people, I said, this thing I contact this kind of celebrate others. There was system, contact, recommendation, and all of that. And I said, I'm going to do it again. I was in a church and a pastor was preaching, and he said, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before what? Judgment. And I said, so, because at that point, I knew that my certificate will not take me far. I knew. But I didn't come up with a good certificate. It's not an excuse for failure. But every time my friends are writing exam, I am writing my own with the fear that they're about to send me out. And that day I made a decision. I said, I'm going to give it another try. Guess what? Anytime you make a decision to try again, God will give you an idea. And I thought of going on radio. I approached a radio station and I said, I'd like to become a freelance presenter. Because people didn't trust me. My life didn't look like the business I was trained in. I became a freelance presenter and I was presenting a live program on Sundays. So every time I'm done with my program, I will go to my meeting. And then I now found out that the moment I mention my name, somebody will say, is it the same thing I just listened to on radio? I'll say yes. They still didn't trust me, but they were trusting the fact that you're working on radio. If you run away with our money, you go on radio. So some of them that had the money started signing up. And then guess what? October 2019, I made my first biggest income. That was my first biggest income. That message I showed you was 2016. That's how many years? How many years? 3 years. 3 years of struggling to build the business. 3 years of I died and resurrected. I made my first income, and because of that boy I saw, I made a decision to launch a bigger foundation that helping children like that boy. Today, one of the biggest fulfillments I have in this business is the fact that I have a bigger foundation now that takes care of street and market children and help them to get back. And by the grace of God, I helping children from the money I made from this business. At the point, my foundation adopted about 142 children. Different communities. One day, one of the teachers called me and said, I have a good news for you. I said, what's the good news? And she told me that one of the girls that were enrolled to their school because they became their senior preferred girls. And that happened because of this business. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not just all. I have many of the children that we now need for their school uniform, academic materials. When I was in school, in the university, I had this lecturer that anytime he entered our class, the first person he asked for is where is the available. The moment I raised my hand to say the get out. The reason is because I don't always have money to buy his account. And he thought I was doing it intentionally. When the devil was going to punish him more, he became my project supervisor.
From frying pan to fire.
I don't have to tell you much more. You know what the experience will look.
If we are sure,
But after I graduated and I started doing this business, he looked for me and he apologized. I said, I'm sorry, I thought you were not serious. But I know that not every student will have such an opportunity. By the grace of God, recently, I was in a school in Stonewall, in Ogun State. And I found out that that school has a very deep library. There was a building for library, but there were no books inside. And because of this business, I was able to stock their library with 500 books because of this business. And recently, I started a project for single mothers, and I started giving them 100,000 naira from part of my income. I can't show you a lot of pictures. But guess what? The only reason why most of you are struggling in this business is because even the little money you are making, you are eating it alone. When you eat the money alone, you will fight your battles alone. As you leave this place by tomorrow, after listening, make a decision. Even if it's one child, let God have a reason to bless you in this business. Let it not just be about you. Let it be about another person. By the grace of God, things started happening soon. If it is state government wanted to award some outstanding young persons and they invited me. I was given an award as an advocate against poverty. But guess what? The most interesting part of this was that the person that presented the award is the wife of the same governor that increased my school fee. And I almost lost my vision. That was me in the same room with the same governor that increased my school fee. I was not sharing. This is what I think. This is what I think we can do for young people in my state. Because of this business, recently became a UN ambassador for peace. I was in my office recently, and I got an award as an ECOWAS youth ambassador. I got this award alongside the son of the president of Nigeria, and myself. Your life is about to change. What you have to do to take a position. Ladies and gentlemen, by the grace of God, a lot of newspapers reported that because of this business, we now have kings. When we launched this project in order, the king of that community came and declared the project open and said, I am recommending this for the community. Wow. Because of the tenacity that is all. Ladies and gentlemen, when you launch your business, do power mapping. Somebody say power mapping. Many of us are doing this business and it didn't look like it's working, but you can fast track the growth. You can do power mapping. Go and map out who are the most powerful people in this community. If you don't know how to assess them, look for somebody that can assess them that you know until you can get somebody. And then go to them and present the project to them. Many of you are too hungry. What you are looking for is sign up, just sign up. Not everybody will sign up to your business. But the people that are biggest voices in the community, can you go to them and tell them, we want to connect with you. We just want to associate with you. Because the vision of our project is what you are already doing. And we want to connect with you. Now, if you can connect with them, you take pictures with them, you ask them to show people that we know you. And they agree for you to show their pictures that they are connected to the organization. That can speed up your growth more than the struggles you will have. There are so many things in my business today. That was me and the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, showed Baba the business and he decided to be a part of what we are doing. That was him taking pictures with us. Life started happening. It doesn't matter the struggles you are having now. Your life will change. Do you believe it? No, you don't believe it. Tell somebody I believe it. I built my first house from the business, and other houses have come, others by the grace of God, been able to work with several other persons, can now go on vacation to different countries. And guess what? Recently, I took 38 of my top leaders on all expense paid vacation. I paid all the bills for them. Because of the business. Guess what? So many other things that are us today. Please, can you play me this video? Can you play the video? I can't play it from it. I saw this community. And this was what happened. Can you help me? This was the water they were making. The water they were making was not natural water. It was a water that was coming from a broken pipe, and they don't know where the pipe was coming from. There was a leakage in the middle of their community. And every time the water is flushing out, they'll surround the leakage and they'll start scooping the water. And I asked them, I was driving in that community and I saw them. I thought they were using water for construction. And I said, what do you do with this water? They said, that's what we drink. And I said, where is the water coming from? They said, who cares? Who cares about where the water is coming from? And by the grace of God, because of this system, I didn't just complain about their situation. I was able to donate the ball to them. Can you show that? It's not until you become a multi-millionaire in the business before you can change people's lives. Can you punch it? This is normal. I can see the passport. Okay. Now, that was the ball I was able to donate to them. But you know, the vision of our project is what? Can we sign the vision? And affect the world positively. The key word is collectively. If you are still the only one doing it, you are not fulfilling the vision. I was able to get to that point. I was able to inspire my teammates so far in Ogun State, where I'm currently running my business. We have donated about 5 balls already in that community. And by the grace of God, you know, I've been able to buy it. And that was one of the cars I bought in the business. I took it in the car parade with my teammates. I told my teammates, I said, the white car parade we did in Abuja, by the grace of God, I was in that white car parade. So I was there, but I didn't have my own car. But I told my teammate, I said, we will stop using this video because we are going to produce ourselves to create our own. And in the same states, when people thought the business was not going to work, about 18 persons bought their own cars and we did our own white car parade. Now, he said I bought a car that looks like it. Do you like the car? I was able to buy a car that looks like it. Okay. And I can show it to the people that the business works. And that was the time I went to pick this cheerleading. And it's beautiful. You know, there are cars and there are bottles.
Yes! Yes! Adam! Adam, no!
No. That's what I did.
That gift not. The one. There is house and there is the
Beautiful offices where I run the business now.
Oh
But
my
this is one
God.
of the biggest projects I'm working on currently.
Oh my
My
God.
team is currently working on a pre-secondary school that can accommodate 100 students and they won't pay a dime. Now we found out that this project with 10 million naira we will run a secondary school that will accommodate 100 street kids every year. How do we raise 10 million naira? 200 of my teammates that this business has changed their lives. That will just contribute 50K in a year. We have done it. Time. Can you see that? What our business is currently doing, nothing can match it in this country. But you have to take a standpoint to be one of the soldiers of this business. Isaiah 60 verse 3. The Gentiles shall come to your light, and kids to the brightness of what? Of your rising. The same young man that they said this business cannot work for you. My brothers started going around, they wanted to look for a job for me. At the point I have to tell my brother that I have this right here because I didn't collect my certificate. So they can leave me and not look for a job. I believe that this business was going to work, notwithstanding the struggles. Recently, a king attended my event. I'd like you to listen to what he said. Please give it follow.
I've never seen a congregation where we have so many professors. You make a lot of professors there. You don't know your work. You don't know what you are building. You are building reputable everything. This is AJEWOLE. Some of my friends, some of my kids, I want to tell them that this thing is what you can use to develop your community. This thing is going to develop communities. He has been active for all of us of the mighty. Not let people see.
By the grace of God, I have been able to work with several other persons. I don't want to tell the stories of some of the people that this business has changed their life. But I have a 3-minute video. I'd like you to watch this. Can we watch this? And take a standpoint. Watch.
I thought being an interior designer would give me the kind of life I wanted, the financial freedom and the time freedom. Until I got into it and I was into designing beautiful outfits for
In case you are an interior designer, listen.
At the end of the month, I take it without even enough to take care of my responsibilities. Not to talk of putting money back in the business.
I used to go back and forth for about 7.5 years. I tried watching it, great. I tried and this because it's great. I was in that sector for 7.5 years, collecting 75,000 and I'm putting on the benefits of life. I've known how to also for my life since the age of 11 years. So life was very tough. I made a decision to commit suicide in my life at the age of about 18 years because the future was not people bright at all.
I finished my university education alone. Started with 3.95. I started a job as a secretary where I was collecting a salary of 20,000 naira. I could not achieve all of those big dreams and visions I've always envisaged. Life was seriously dealing with me.
Not always because to make impact in life, okay, what you do, you cannot give. In search of that, I came across the Christian. The first salary was the 3,000 naira. So I have to resign. So now you get this, you must still be for you to as an independent producer, independent presenter. What was still works out? It's contrary to me. I was once a factory worker that was collecting from 5,000 naira from the
wife and two children. Life was hard and totally easy. And I was looking to get a job in line of my career.
In case that's your story, connect to it.
Because of the time during my career, I discovered that I wouldn't want to end my career in the way I saw my superior. So I didn't want to be.
I was working as a business development manager in the company. I was paying to show her everything. There was something I was missing. It was like you have to skill your brain able to make that money. So many of us might say, oh, they're doing well, but what is the point in earning money and don't have rest, no peace of mind, not the money I need, not the pressure on me, which was even affecting my health.
I said that you must be happy and successful in life. You go to school, get a very good grade, get a good certificate, and at the end of the day, you get a fantastic job and begin to live a good life. But something inside me did not agree with those things. I went to secondary school, I graduated, I went to university, I came out of university, I got a job, they were paying me 20,000 naira. I was still again because I was supposed to.
Some of you, this is your story. That's who you are.
And then began to I just made doing right now. And at the point when I felt sick, I'm not even with me to take care of me. They told me to test to work on very difficult for us to raise the money.
So years back when I graduated from school, I discovered that the loan factory used in financing application was maybe 1 year, 6 months after graduation. I had to show that to become a local player. Then one advised me to be a private institution. I did that for a couple of times and I did also
See, a man in front of you that has stored the atmosphere of the world, of this oil and gas, overputting this dream massively and turning around so great in the sense that I got the opportunity to send different men of thought in the city of Jerusalem, getting back to the shop. But I also want that the very check the government, I now turn the business. Everything was upside down. I thought I could not be in life again. Everybody around me decided.
I prepared I was probably part of the three of us. I'm just managing life will be I experienced what we call web financial. My dad was listed among those who carried this and I was within those showing the other side of the world. Most likely, I would say I'm a child that came to this world because of I have the things to achieve. I committed suicide and gave myself. I was born for like 3 days. I was off this world. But what I got from this organization was mentorship.
I signed up for mentorship.
Like, today,
I came across the Millennials Academy. I enrolled into the mentorship ambassador team of our 6 months after my
These are people that God has been able to change their lives.
A year later, I became a Millennial Tech member in the organization. I was able to help a lot of people to build their dream. I became an Amazon ambassador in the organization, leading thousands of women to become the best version of them.
Right now, speaking to you, I'm able to make a good amount of money in the business. I've been able to society, even close.
Next,
4 months into
Oh, that's
being
okay.
a part of this project, I was able to make about 790,000 naira. And in less than 8 months into this business, I've bought a car.
Are you also busy confident? Ladies and gentlemen, if you know that you are like one of them, I would like you to connect your face to them. It is not a starting, even failure starts. It's not a starting. And you have started the business, does not mean you will be successful. Because even failure starts. Only champions remains until they get to the finish line. How many of us will get to the finish line? As I leave this place, can we be all standing, all of us? Can we be all standing? This is polo. This was my last event, and the same young man at the top business we don't work for. This can you give me polo? I can't even remember the names of those people that is you can be the greatest. You can be the brightness. You can.
Perfect. No more shit. I'm actually that's shit is being money.
In the next few months, this will be you. In the next few years, that will be you. I would like you to connect your faith to it. Doesn't matter what you're going through right now, that will be your story. That will be you. That will be your story. Ladies and gentlemen, the same young man who was here, the same young man here. You know. Recently, I found myself on WhatsApp group, and I wanted to remove myself there because the person that added me is not in Nigeria. I just thought before I remove myself, let me check the people on the group. And I saw a powerful mentors in the room. And the only person I could call at that time was Ambassador Architect Moses. And I said, boss, I told you what am I doing there? And he said, if you are on that group, then it means you are one of the top 20 CIS in Canada. Now, guess what? I knew that somehow I will get there. But I didn't know that it also soon. And if in this meeting, I want you to connect to me, connect to my story. If your story is in any way looking like mine, just know that breakthrough is coming for you. I told you, money does not change people's life. What changes people's life is an encounter with life. If you are in this meeting today, take a position to encounter light. Don't be casual. So until you go to a Christian event, revival, like I'm very serious. Be more serious because this is a revival that will change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to leave you with this. Your life will change. It doesn't matter what people are saying. What matters is you resolve and you are as a person. What matters is your willingness to change. It doesn't matter what your environment looks like. I think the only disadvantage you have is that you cannot see that change is about to happen for you. You can't see it, and this is you that is about to give up. This is you that is already tired. This is you that is about to need leverage to go and get a job. Somebody is here. You are afraid to leave your job. That's the only limitation you have. But that was the last time I heard God. You are here, you are afraid to leave. Your job is paying you 200,000, and yet you are afraid. What do you have to lose? If you are on the street, would you raise 200,000? Even if you don't have a job, you will raise 200,000. If you are desperate, as you leave this place today, break free. Tell somebody, break free. Break free. And tell yourself, I can do it. No, you are not saying it like you mean it. Tell yourself, I can do it. I can do it. Enough is enough. Thank you so much, Stanley. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. I think we are going now.